quick guide to glues that we find in our isolation zones. First off, one that most people would have lying around are solvent-based glues. Now, this is an example of a solvent-based glue, Technical Rapide, awesome, very, very smelly. It is a classic sign of solvent-based glues. They are normally clear, so you can't actually see what they're like. So solvent-based glues, solvent-based glues, as I said, are normally smelly. They're normally clear, so they dry clear, which makes them quite seductive as a glue, and they are very, very sticky, so you'll find that they leave little stringy bits of glue everywhere, and when they dry they form a sort of skin as they dry. They also come very often with the claim of being all-purpose. The reason being is because they are so sticky, they tend to stick things together, so they're not so much a bonding thing as basically a sticky thing like that. Another thing after solvent-based glues that I found was white glues, wood glues. They're water-based. You'll see them on the internet called white glue. It's also called wood glue. It's called PVA, which stands for polyvinyl acetate. These glues are plastic, made out of substances like that, but they are based in water, so they work a little bit like acrylic paint. So water-based glues, they tend to be more slimy than sticky, and they tend to take longer to stick than solvent-based glues, so they take more time, but this is important, but they are stronger when they're dry. So to give you a quick heads up as to why they are stronger, I will draw you some diagrams. There you have a surface, and you want to glue it to that surface. This is going to be my solvent-based glue, and red is going to be my water-based glue. So if I'm going to use a solvent-based glue, that sits on the surface, and when you push the two together, what happens is the glue squidges between the two and sticks between the two, and then anything excess oozes out. And when that dries, the surface of those two forms a really, really strong grip. Water-based glues work very differently. So when I put glue on that surface and that surface, what happens is the glue starts to soak into these surfaces using the water and the absorbency of the surfaces that it's working with. So when you push them together, it forms a very, very close bond, and there's not much glue on that surface because most of the glue has gone between the two, so it makes it almost one piece, so you'd have to sort of break the material there to get them apart, whereas with this one you're breaking the glue joint, which makes this one stronger. One exception to that rule on the water-based glue front is this Pritt stick. Pritt stick is a water-based glue. but it is a surface water-based glue, so it's already semi-dried anyway, but they put a plasticizer in it, so when you stick two pieces of normally paper together, it doesn't soak into the surface, it stays on the surface. Both of these glues, both solvent and water-based, will dry faster in temperature changes, so warm, and they will dry faster if you give them air, which is why you should always put the lids back on. One other important thing about them drying is that water-based glues, they do better under pressure, and solvent-based glues don't, so less pressure. This is because the more pressure you put onto these two as you're pushing them together means that the glue is forced into these two surfaces, and the more pressure you put on these pushing them together just means that more comes out. So far in my house I've managed to find some all-purpose sticky glue. I found some Pritt Stick, I found some wood glue, white glue, paper glue. I have also found some tapes. Tapes are what are known as pressure sensitive. Pressure sensitive glues literally means that the more pressure you apply, the stronger they are. So the tapes that I've got a little bit of magic tape, probably stolen from Reaper Graphics. I got some masking tape, I got some parcel tape, and I got some double-sided sticky tape. Obviously, double-sided sticky tape is really handy for the model making that I'll be doing, but if you haven't got access to that, we'll work out something else. One final glue that I didn't mention was super glue. I didn't mention it because I just happened to have this. I picked it up on the way out from the workshop, but I'm not expecting people to have it. So to finish off, here's some quick notes on all-purpose solvents. And here's some notes on wood glues.